We are now live.
Hello and welcome back to What Were They Thinking, the podcast where we look at the week's biggest news and ask the one question everyone else is just too polite to say out loud. Seriously? I'm your host Jeremy here with Bernard and Darnell, and today we're diving into a week that's felt more like political thriller written by a sleep-deprived screenwriter. From a multi-billion-dollar war without an exit plan to a secret briefing that ended in a dramatic hallway exit and a patient in Florida who apparently thinks a hospital is a five-star hotel. We've got a lot to unpack. Let's get into the stances, the summaries, and the whys behind the what's in the news this week.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, for doing that again. You seem to always knock it out of the park there.
My pleasure.
All right, what do we want to start?
It's what I get paid for.
Where do we want to start with this week? Update with the New Mexico war.
Wait, New Mexican war?
No.
Is that something new?
Let's go.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with bomb Iran.
I thought there was another war we were starting already.
No, that's the one in New. There's one maybe in South America we might start.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So bomb Iran. They just keep bombing.
They do. They do.
And
Operation Epic Fury.
Yeah.
And they keep bombing because despite the fact that Congress keeps trying to vote,
Congress doesn't do anything.
They keep defeating the resolution for the war powers. So that's why we're still doing it.
So I found something interesting on the internet.
Oh.
Guess what I found?
Look at this. We got stuff and like images. We're like on top of this today. This is professional looking.
Yeah, this is an actual back sheet from the Department of War from today about Operation Epic Fury, and it is quite interesting. And what they're saying here, let's see here, CENTCOM, U.S. Central Command is, let's see here. They're saying they struck 7,800 plus targets, 8,000 plus combat flights, and 120 plus Iranian vessels destroyed or damaged. Okay, and they're saying, here's all these assets: B-1, B. Oh, they actually deployed the B-52 bomber.
Wow.
Wow. Which is just absolutely interesting. Yeah, they brought out the old boy.
Yep.
Yeah, Throwback Thursdays. The A-10 came out.
I've seen that.
Yeah. The F-22 came out. I don't know why they would need an F-22.
Just throwing it all out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Okay.
They've on
couple cargo aircraft.
Yeah. But the thing that's more interesting is they've
deployed... they got U-2 playing at the USO already. Oh, never mind.
The thing I find most interesting is they just started deploying some land assets. Patriot intercept missile system, anti-THAAD, the high mobility artillery rocket system, and drone counter systems. Now, the mobility high air. Are you guys? I'm not really familiar with that high mobility one, but that suggests to me they're getting ready to move some assets around.
Well, I mean, that one they can move a lot quicker, so they can get it place to place and not stay in one spot for counterfire, and they can deploy it easier to other locations that, like, if the front starts shifting or things like that. So
yeah, that I wonder if boots are going on the ground soon, if they're beginning to bring that out. And okay, the C-1, all right, that's kind of your standard complement, you know what I mean, for when a nuclear aircraft carrier shows up. But what's more interesting is some of the targets they've hit: ballistic missile sites, military infrastructure site. They forgot to list the elementary school they hit by mistake. How convenient they didn't list that in their fact sheet.
Well, the AI targeted by mistake.
Yeah. But I was hearing that they may be wanting to target a what's the word I'm looking for? A little tiny island in the sea there. In the yeah. And the thing is, I can't remember the little tiny island. It's about 1/3 the size of Manhattan, but it can handle the super oil tankers. And because the mainland Iran does not have the ability to has ports that can handle these super oil tankers because their ports aren't deep enough.
Right.
And there are rumors now that we may be taking that island.
Well, I think we already started doing some targeting on it.
Yes.
But we did not target the oil infrastructure on it, supposedly.
Right. Because basically only the Chinese oil tankers pull up to that island.
Right. But we did take out some, I think they said they were targeting some military assets on that island or some kind of like security assets there. But then Trump did threaten on Truth Social that if Iran keeps doing XYZ, then we'll just blow up the whole island. Like,
yeah. Now, I do want to point this out. Even before we started doing some of this stuff, at least I've been reading through Al Jazeera, which is okay. I'm going to get crucified now because why are you referring to the Al Jazeera? It's a Middle Eastern news source. Of course, it's going to be biased. Of course, it's going to be this, right? From some of our listeners and stuff. Al Jazeera is actually a pretty decent news source if you know how to pick through it. They're actually pretty. I would say they're almost like the NPR of the Middle East. You know, kind of. And once you get past the religious aspect of some of the stuff that they say, but if you're looking at more of the international news and what's actually going on the ground, they actually got some pretty decent reporting. You know, for example, here, if I go into my notes, let's see here. They're predicting that European gas prices could raise more than 30% later this year.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Believe it.
They're talking like 90 euros per megawatt hour, which is $103 per megawatt hour, and that's up from about 75 euros per megawatt hour. So that's a pretty significant increase. You know.
Yeah.
There's also been strikes on LNG flows coming out of Iran. So that's Europe kind of got they kind of had to cut off Russia for LNG, and now this is happening. Europe is going to have to make some decisions. It's basically what it comes down to.
Well, I just read that some countries are making deals with Iran to get their stuff through the strait.
Yeah.
India did it successfully. I think, is China still doing it? They getting stuff through?
I think they only want to be paid. I think Iran is basically saying, yeah, we're not accepting U.S. dollars. We're only accepting yen, Chinese currency.
That was the other thing. Yeah, they were going to start. They'll let ships pass as long as they buy the oil in yen.
Right. Yep. Which is another problem for the United States. You know, we kind of have, running the empire on the economic space of the U.S. dollar is the international currency, and you screwed that up, Trump. Good going, guy. Because if the U.S. may not have a territorial land empire, but it had an economic one.
Yeah.
And that was simply because we decided not to hold everything. We said to everybody, why don't you be all good people, play nice in the sandbox, don't piss in it, excuse me, and we'll let you do what you want to do as long as you use our money
within reason,
within reason, and we'll just make sure everything's kind of stable.
Yeah.
Now this guy comes along and decides, nah, we're not going to do that any longer. America first. I'm like, maybe I'm going to go back a little bit to after World War II here, and we're going to say, there was a whole reason why we did the Berlin airlift. Because we and decided to really support Europe after World War II by bailing them out economically and not really asking too much for it because we were afraid of the communists. and we provided a different way of thinking about things, compared to communism, that we could actually be successful as a capitalist, economic, free, prospering people. That if everybody kind of helped each other out, we could still maintain, good relationships. And as long as war wasn't going on, we were
like a community.
Yeah, not communists. That drives me nuts. Communism gets kind of a bad rap because of Russia, because of the Soviet Union and stuff. If you look actually what the Communist Manifesto actually says, it talks about how you're supposed to help everybody. I almost think communism goes hand in hand with the Catholic Church at some level. It's all about helping out your neighbor and stuff.
Yeah,
everybody all by scary, isn't it? It's kind of the same, different ways of saying things, but kind of the same message. Different ways of looking at it. Generally, you can say that about most religions,
and then if you're a Star Trek fan, I mean, that's the idyllic.
I don't think Star Trek is communist. I think they're more of a socialist utopia society.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
Because I think the communist Star Trek would be more kibbutz-like, if I would say, make anything. How ironic! I'm using a Jewish word. Kibbutzes. The little communities, more Amish-like. You know what I mean? I don't want to think. I would see them being more like that than if anything else. But going back to the oil situation,
we kind of got off topic there.
They're saying Al Jazeera is kind of, from their analyst point of view, they're saying like $200 of a barrel is not so far-fetched, which is kind of something that we could see, because the United States is having to really scramble with Venezuela now, and trying to get those oil supplies upline. Although the U.S. oil corporations have made it so they can figure out how to make a profit on like $60, $70 a barrel when they extract it, because they had such a long period of time where oil was below like $50 a barrel, so they had to kind of figure something out.
Right.
So I think there could be definitely a situation where oil prices go up, affects everybody negatively, and stuff like that. But you were mentioning something else about that comes out of Iran that's actually kind of important.
Right. Yeah. So another thing that passes through that strait, that's not oil based. We're getting word from the Farm Bureau. They officially petitioned the White House this week because of the conflict going on. It has effectively choked off 35% of the world's ammonia and half of its urea, both key fertilizer ingredients, with the urea prices going up 25% in 2 weeks. American farmers are warning of potential crop catastrophe. Democrats are saying this is like some of that hidden cost of war, just going in, and it's affecting supply chains all around, which could cause food inflation. And the Republicans are demanding the Navy to basically clear the lanes on the strait to kind of not have this happen to all their constituents. It's just another unforeseen that could have been foreseen had they actually thought about it a little bit. Consequences of what we're doing.
Their research.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Yep.
We're talking about the people that willy-nilly change things and don't do the research plans and implement the tariffs, and then they say, "Oh, we lost, but now we're going to implement these tariffs, but we're not going to do the actual hearings." Yeah, that sounds about right. Welcome to Trump America.
So not only is the cost of the oil, I know I've been seeing diesel here around like $5.39 a gallon.
Yeah.
So the cost of shipping all the food around is going to go up, but then the cost of growing the food is going to go up as we, come into spring season with all the fertilizing and
What you're saying is ready. Farmers are getting screwed all kinds of ways. First, the terror knocked out all their buyers.
Yep.
And now the war is knocking out
raising their prices for the running their tractors.
Yeah.
Raising the prices for all their fertilizer. Yep.
And
but they wanted this. This is what they voted for.
And not to mention the fact that Canada probably stands to probably benefit from most of that from that shortage, because they're like the biggest supplier of potash in the world.
Mm.
So now we're going to be going
up there. Do they?
No, potash. It's a type of fertilizer, an ingredient fertilizer.
Yeah.
So, and how did we piss off our neighbors again?
I mean, which time? Saying we're going to make them our 51st state, imposing tariffs on them. I mean,
Canada's got some pretty nice natural resources up there, and
sure be a shame if someone mined them.
Yeah, and sold them to us at a decent price because they're nice.
So he'll just go in and take them.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's happening. But also on the war with Iran is that what I wanted to point out is Iran's kind of picked an interesting strategy here. Let's shoot all our neighbors in the process.
Yeah.
That didn't, even though those neighbors didn't let the U.S. use their bases, or Israeli use their bases, didn't let them fly through their airspace and all that stuff. Iran still said, "Yeah, you kind of support them, so we're going to start attacking you too." And is it the UAE? Yeah, it's the UAE that has all those, centered themselves as like the big economic stable place in the Middle East.
Right. Yeah.
They're heavily targeting them. And I think Qatar is another one, Kuwait, Iraq. There's a lot of missiles at everything, at infrastructure. They're not stopping at military targets in those areas, like just the United States bases. So the rest of the Middle East is kind of like, they didn't want this war. They didn't want to do this war, but their hands are being forced, and they're kind of like, several countries have said, we really didn't want to do this, but we may have to join the United States and the Israelis, to put an end to this, because there's a theory going around that they may not have enough, what's the word I'm looking for? Air suppression fire.
Okay.
To protect their assets. I think the statistic I heard was for every one incoming aerial threat, it takes two. They fire about two anti-missiles. So if they shot off, I think it was 800 missiles into those countries, they had to fire like 1,600 missions back to make sure they could get a kill on it.
Okay.
And they're running out of ammunition.
So basically, they've created the situation where these Arab countries need to decide, the devil you know or the devil you don't, kind of.
Right. And they know both devils at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So the question is, which devil do they side with? The Israelis in the United States or Iran?
I mean, but they knew the devil of the U.S. before Trump. Now it's a completely different beast.
Right. But the devil, they're also thinking, we got to also remember, in a year, less than a year, Congress may change. And in 3 years, it may be a different president, and it could be a different,
right.
So it's like short term, we deal with this devil, and we may get a better deal in 3 years from now, or we deal with Iran, and we know what we're going to get long term.
Yeah, but other countries are starting to look at the United States as not stable. Even down the line, we got this Yahoo in here. We may get another Yahoo that's even worse.
Right. As me being the eternal optimist, I still think the United States has the ability to correct itself. As much as
come November.
Come November, I think I think at some level, if you look at how the country's swinging in the special elections and stuff like that,
No,
heck, I think
sorry.
it was.
I don't have your optimism, because unless we can get the other party in there, and then trials start going on and people start getting arrested and thrown in jail. Not this, oh, well, we'll let you go this time. No. Unless people start going to jail for what they've done, this country will never get back to where we were.
Right. And speaking of that, Darnell, let's talk about the courts for a moment here. Because all right, let's talk about the judge's inherent power of contempt. Earlier this week, judges are getting fed up. Takes them a while, but they're getting there. I believe there's been contempt hearings scheduled to haul people in. One of them is for the 3 U.S. attorneys and the 3 assistant U.S. attorneys in Alina Habba to show up in New Jersey sometime in April to explain to one judge who's running the office. And if you don't start telling me what's going on, I'm just going to start releasing everybody from the jails that have these indictments, because there's actually no U.S. attorney, which means all these indictments are invalid, which means you're free to go because you have an invalid indictment in New Jersey. I think the Minnesota courts or federal courts are pretty much done at this point. And I think there's some contempt hearings already scheduled out there. And I think they're going to start. Okay. I think so. U.S. federal judges, like I said last week, it's the question: who's going to be the first one to do it, to put them into the lockup? Yeah. And once that happens, I think a lot more federal judges are going to start doing it if they don't see major consequences for that. I think the Department of Justice is in a lot of trouble. I think that the U.S. Department of Justice and ICE is in a lot of trouble, and I think the lockup is coming. I think the U.S. Marshals that work for the courts are going to be holding a lot of high-profile prisoners.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it until.
But will it happen?
I think it will. I think it will happen. I think it'll be within the next couple of weeks.
That soon, huh?
Oh yeah, this has been building for a year or two, about a year plus now. You got to remember the federal judges, because the Supreme Court made a decision saying that basically instead of having nationwide injunctions for a lot of things, especially on the immigration cases, just have a habeas corpus petition. You know what I mean? Which means bring forth the body, and a lot of judges are okay. We'll grant them. And the federal and the U.S. and they're not producing the body, the person into that federal courtroom, and the federal judges are getting pissed. They're working overtime, and it's like, well, whatever. You know what I mean? We can't do it. We can't. Literally federal judges have gotten to the point now where they're specifying in a court order what the immigration detainee has to be released with. You will release him with his papers. You will release him with his personal effects. You will release him back in the city that you picked him up in. You will just not dump him on the side outside the detention center walls. In one court case recently, the judge literally told the Department of Justice to reimburse the plane ticket to get the person back to the home state he was picked up in. Good. That when he was released in Texas, back to Minnesota.
Good.
So I think it's coming. I know it's painfully slow, but I think it's going to happen much faster than most people realize. Because I think a lot of federal judges are like, we're done. They're just trying to figure out how to do it and make sure it sticks.
Right.
Which is the difference. I think a lot of people from looking outside the courtrooms and just lay people, or don't quite understand why judges are not just slamming the gavel at this point. The reason why they're not slamming the gavel at this point is because they want to make sure it sticks, and when it goes up to appellate level or the Supreme Court,
right? Because otherwise, it's just going to cause chaos in the midterms.
Right. So they're just like, okay, or they may be strategically waiting a little bit so it's closer to the midterms, and then they do it. So this way they don't have to wait until the so this way they don't have the chaos through the summer. You know what I mean? Because the courts move slowly. So if they time it right, they could have this all being played out right in the middle of election season. You know? And a lot of the judges that are being quite aggressive on this manner are, how do I put it? Senior status judges, not, like judges that, because a lot of them are like, I'm still a judge, but I'm kind of half enjoying retirement here. Because of the caseload that's come up, they're having to
calling them off the bench, so to speak.
They're having to come back into basically active full-time judges roles. So you think those judges are very happy? No. Yeah. You're talking judges that were appointed by Reagan, Clinton.
They're mostly retired, so what do they care if they cause a...
Yeah. Judge Hellerstein has been the most aggressive one out in New York, and he was appointed by Bill Clinton, and he's like 90 years old and still sharp as a tack and sitting on the bench. He's overseeing the Maduro trial.
Okay.
So, I think that's a big deal there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that I just don't see. I don't see the federal courts at this point backing down as much as some other people would say. They're not doing anything. I think they're being slow and methodical like they've always been. They're not, let's face it, the federal courts have always been slow and methodical. They don't.
Courts in general, fast.
Yeah. So I think what people, the courts have turned into this big, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my gosh, they're going to save us all, and they're going to move really fast to do it. No, that's not what they're designed for. They're there to protect your liberty, your constitutional rights, and make sure you get a fair trial if you have to go to trial.
Yeah.
And right now they're beginning to see problems with the Department of Justice, and they're making sure it's being dealt with appropriately.
Yeah.
And they're moving slowly and methodically. And once they have, as I like to say, maybe a good way of describing this, they're laying their trap quite well. And once they decide to pull it, there's no way out from underneath it. That's how the federal court system works.
Now, is Congress trying to do the same thing? I know they're trying to get wrangling the DOJ as well. Do you think they're laying a trap? I mean,
well,
they had. We should talk. Yeah, I was gonna say they just had the House Oversight Committee.
Yeah,
where they had.
Maybe we should talk about Pam Bondi for a moment.
Yeah,
and saying that she's got a date on April 14th, and you can't say no.
Right. Well, that's the thing. They just had a meeting on Wednesday with Bondi and the Deputy AG, Todd Blanche.
And they
closed door briefing for the House Oversight Committee.
Yeah.
Regarding the Epstein files.
And they walked out. The
Democrats walked out because Bondi reportedly refused to commit to testify under oath or honoring a standing subpoena.
Yeah.
So the Democrats walked out. Calling it a fake hearing, which, I mean, if she's not going to testify under oath,
what's the point?
She can literally say anything she wants, and there's no consequence.
Well, technically, if you're in a congressional hearing and if you're just talking to a committee, you're still testifying. You don't have to be sworn in, technically.
Yeah, but she's not saying anything under oath.
Technically, it's lying to Congress. You don't have to be sworn in under oath to be convicted of that crime. Granted, she's the Attorney General who would prosecute the Attorney General.
Right. The Republicans are just saying it was like a premeditated political grant, like the Democrats just walking out and
Yeah, but I would kind of beg to differ at this point, because if we look at what happened after the meeting,
right? So that brings us to this point here.
Yeah, we got a nice little letter from Mr. Jeff Comer.
I know that
saying, a Republican, right?
And
he voted and saying that the House. Let me read this thing. Let me read the first paragraph here. I gotta make this just a little bit bigger for myself so this way I can see it. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform Committee is reviewing the possible mismanagement of federal government investigations of Mr. Jeffrey Epstein and Mrs. Elaine Maxwell, in the circumstances and subsequent investigations of Mr. Epstein's death and operation of sex trafficking rings, and the ways the federal government effectively combated them, and the ways that Mr. Epstein and Mrs. Maxwell sought to curry favor and exercise an influence to protect their illegal activities and potential violations of the rules of ethics. And related to elected officials, on March 4th, 2026, the committee voted to approve a motion directing the committee to authorize an issuance of subpoena of your deposition. Pursuant to this direction, please see attached subpoena for you to appear on April 14th, 2026. And it goes on to say, basically, you're going to be testifying about Jeffrey Epstein and associates, and bring any documents you think you should be you're going to need for that hearing, because we're going to have some questions, and this is going to be a public hearing, from what I understand. So,
okay,
yeah. Didn't the Republicans wanted a closed door hearing?
I think that's the one they just had, but they just, I don't know. It seems like they're.
See, the Republicans, they want, just like what they did with the Clintons, they want to control the information coming out.
Yep. But I don't think, but the vote was not along party lines. A lot of Republicans broke ranks in this committee to issue this subpoena. So and generally when you get one of these types of subpoenas, it's in public. It isn't behind closed doors. Because this is mentioned, it's a closed door subpoena. This is so it's implied to be public. Okay. So, and there is no negotiation on this one. It's a vote. They took the vote. You're showing up. If you don't show up, well, the House Sergeant at Arms is going to be quite interested to talk to you.
I mean, do you think they would go after the head of the DOJ, essentially?
Yeah, see, you have a lot of optimism in this administration and the deal.
I have optimism in this House Sergeant of Arms to haul somebody in.
See, I don't even have optimism for that.
Separate branch of government doesn't respond to the president. There's
it's not supposed to, like the many other branches of government aren't supposed to.
Right. No, well, there's three branches of government: the legislative, the judicial, and the executive. And I see the Congress getting pretty pissed. And not to mention, this is the one thing that the Republicans
but are enough Republican congressmen getting pissed? That's the question.
Yeah, I think so. On this one issue, this one very tiny issue, yes.
Okay, we'll see.
And I think the House Sergeant at Arms has been quiet. It's been kind of like, I think they're looking for a reason to reestablish their powers. And here we go. We got a golden opportunity here.
Yeah.
Speaking of New Mexico, of Jeffrey Epstein, we have to. I know we talked about New Mexico last week and how to reopen investigation. Now, I've apparently reason why that at the reporting at the time we didn't cover this, but I wanted to bring this up. Apparently, add some things here. Okay, there we go. This is a picture that was emailed or sent to New Mexico state representatives showing possible grave sites at the ranch that Jeffrey Epstein used to own. Also reported from Al Jazeera that obtained this information through a Freedom of Information Act request.
Oh. Okay.
At the state level.
So what you're saying is they had all this information already?
No, it was sent to them in February of this year.
Well, no, to Al Jazeera.
They had it. They just got it within the last couple of days through the Freedom of Information Act requests.
Right. What I'm saying is that information has been on public record
for about 24 hours now.
Well, because of the request, but what I'm saying is they had this information.
Yeah, they had this before.
That's how they got the Freedom of Information request fulfilled.
Right.
Because state entities already had this information.
Right. The state of New Mexico, but it was apparently sent to them in February of this year, which prompted the reopening.
Partially. I thought they've had it for like this whole time, and they were just
no
one did anything with it until the Freedom of Information request.
No. This was part of the reason why they reopened the investigation.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So now state of Mexico is kind of pissed about why they were told to back off on this, and this is part of the reason why they want to talk to Pam Bondi about. And apparently, it's come out during the first Trump administration. That's when they quashed this investigation. They told New Mexico to stop looking around.
Oh.
So now we're talking first Trump administration shenanigans on top of second Trump administration shenanigans.
Okay.
So this is going to be how do I put this politely?
So is he going to start giving out speeches saying that, this isn't his fault, he was left this mess by his first administration? Is that?
Yeah. And Sleepy Joe Biden didn't do anything about it. I'm thinking to myself.
Sleepy Joe Biden didn't reopen the investigation I closed down, so it's his fault.
Yeah. And Sleepy Joe Biden, I'm thinking to myself, Sleepy Joe Biden had to deal with a pandemic that you left on him with a firing bonfire thing too at the same time. Joe Biden had a lot of things to clean up.
That's what kills me about this, and how people still vote Republican. Every single time in the past 20 to 40 years, every time Republicans got in, we've had a recession. Then the Democrat had to pull us out the recession and get us back to where we were going. Then a Republican comes in, another recession. Takes credit.
It's like Jimmy Carter, comes in, has to fix up after the Nixon administration. Ford started doing it, and actually, but Jimmy, and then everybody's like, I don't like the nuclear engineer running the country, so they elect Ronald Reagan or somebody like that, and it's like,
and he puts us in a recession
and trickle down economics. And I don't know how George Bush got elected for the first term one. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, guys, it's like, it's not, I think the pendulum swings around, but however, I think after these high tariffs and everything, I think the Republicans are going to be in a hurting situation for the next 40 years. Oh, wait a second. When did they do that the last time?
That's only, again, you're being optimistic.
I'm not being optimistic. I'm just looking at historical facts.
If the Democrats step up with the hard hammer, then yes. And people start going to jail and we start having another New Deal, then yes.
Yeah. I think the only way out of this at this point is a New Deal situation. Not Green New Deal, not this. No, let's just get people back to work and just, putting the hammer down.
Yep. People just the only way.
Right. And then there's other people who are like, oh, the technology is going to save. I'm like looking at all the stuff around with
or the
technology and
aliens.
Yeah,
and AI and stuff. And I'm like, I hate to say this, maybe a little government regulation might be helpful here to help us in education, like free education, like K through 12 schools, like might help solve part of that problem.
That just leads to more non-compliance from the civilians. So
yeah,
I'm just saying, a little education goes a long way. Learning how to read, write, and spell.
Yeah, but then they won't want to vote Republican.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I love that. It was a stat I saw on Fox News of like the people who vote or voting for Trump versus who are voting for Kamala, and the higher degree you had in schooling, the more likely you were to vote for Kamala, and the lower your degree, the more likely you were to vote for Trump. And Fox News put it up there. It was their statistics they put up. I'm like, oh boy.
I'm just like, yeah. So I think this New Mexico thing is a state investigation, and they're not backing down at this point. And I don't think the federal government could tell them to back down at this point, even if they tried.
No, because the federal government can't say jack.
Because they took their opportunity at it, and now the state's taking their crack at it. You know what I mean? So now they're in trouble. And a state of New Mexico is not a state I would want to be messing around with because I think it's run by the Democrats, right?
Is it?
I think it's democratically controlled. It's one of those states. I think state level it's Democratic, not necessarily so much on the national level.
Okay.
But their constitution is written in English and
Espanol.
Yes, when it was originally written, it was written in both languages. Yeah, the only state with a dual language state constitution in the Union. So,
and now you know.
Yep, now you know more information. All right, maybe we should also talk about what was the last thing you
Florida
wanted to talk about? Oh gosh, we have.
It's a classic, like only in Florida story.
Oh God, here we go.
A hospital in Tallahassee has filed a lawsuit to evict a patient who has refused to leave for 5 months. He was medically cleared for discharge back in October, and he's been he basically turned their hospital room into a permanent residence, refusing all transition plans or assisted living or home care. So I mean, this guy's like big hospital wait times, all this stuff going, and he's basically got room service, 24/7 nursing. The hospital is basically asking a judge to legally declare the patient a trespasser. Like, how does this happen?
Well, if he was there for 30 plus, if he was there for enough time to be considered a tenant, then he would have tenant protections, and being declared a trespasser wouldn't matter at this point. Well, they're in the wrong court. They're in the wrong courtroom. Oh, they need to be over in landlord-tenant court land.
If they can't put you out, they can't charge you the high bills. So that's kind of a smart thing. Let me stay here.
But is this a landlord-tenant case?
I don't know.
A trespassing case, because
like can't you just kick him out? Like
no, because he's got rights under landlord-tenant law.
Yeah, but it's not a housing place.
He established residency there. It's got a bed. He's got rooms. It's got essentially the facility's got a kitchen.
So if you just refuse to be discharged, you can't.
If he was there long enough, he was probably for his initial stay. He became.
Well, that's basically like he's refusing transition plans, assisted living, home care. Like I didn't know you could just do that and just be like, nah, I'm gonna stay here.
But this is but the other this is going to be an interesting case because if I was his attorney, I would be arguing he's in the wrong hospital sued me in the wrong court. You need to be over in landlord-tenant court.
I just asked my wife. She's a nurse. She said, "Yeah, you can do that. You can refuse not to go anywhere."
What?
I'm thinking this belongs in landlord-tenant territory. You know what I mean? I really do. You know,
I'm just thinking like how big my deductible is versus my rent. You know what I
mean? Don't you just go to the VA?
Well, if I want good health care, I mean.
Yeah, go to a VA certified hospital. Don't go with an actual VA. Just make sure you go to the one that's actually certified to work with the VA.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and don't get transferred to the VA.
I've been trying to get a dental appointment for 4 months now.
You heard about the Veterans Care International?
No, should I have?
Yes.
Tell me more.
It's a bunch of countries that got together. They're working with the VA. They're building big state-of-the-art VA facilities in their countries. Oh yeah, it's
for American vets or for other countries?
For American vets. I'm trying to go to one in Punta Cana in a couple months.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So I can go get my primary care in the Bahamas somewhere?
Oh yeah.
Can I say this as an American citizen? No. My charitable tax dollars only go so far, and I think we should be employing Americans with my tax dollars.
Hey, I need a caregiver to travel with me to the Bahamas.
Yeah, see, Jeremy needs a caregiver.
That's fine, as long as it's an American U.S. citizen.
That's what I'm saying. When I go to the Bahamas, let me know. I need a caregiver to escort me.
Right, but what I'm trying to say is building these facilities overseas means they're probably going to employ the locals, which means I'm not supporting American hard-working American citizens at that point.
Well, I'm sure we'll give them a path to citizenship.
Yeah.
Sure. Right, under this current administration. Okay.
Well, it was really headed up by some Americans that decided, well, why do we only have this in America? Why can't in United States?
Veterans travel?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go to the U.S.? There's plenty of U.S. bases across the world. Just make the U.S. bases.
Well, not every veteran can get on those.
Yeah.
Why not?
Darnell and I can.
Why just not make
my buddy who was in the service for he can't just go on a post whenever he wants.
Why not just make it a small? Why not just make it so you can just go to the medical care unit and you get escorted by an MP?
Well,
they could, but come on. But see, I don't think they have bases in Tahiti and.
Well, give a good reason to have one.
Yeah, that would.
Wait, so if I set up for one in Germany, does that mean I get travel reimbursement?
Probably.
You can get a free flight courtesy of the U.S. Air Force.
Well, I could do Space A, but I wonder if they would reimburse. Like if I was in Germany already.
You could probably you could probably get on a U.S. Wait a second. Don't they have so many people in Germany that the U.S. charters flights back to the United States?
Yeah, that's to say I get on a Space A if I wanted and try to get over there for free. But what I'm saying is, if I'm already there,
Yeah,
you can do the same thing in
me
reverse.
To travel to the hospital if I'm already there. Because like if I go to an appointment here, I get reimbursed for travel.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
Well, I'm just thinking like the military resort in Edelweiss in Germany, like go skiing and then plan my primary care appointment.
Sounds like you're abusing the system, guys.
No, I have no clue what you're talking about. Nope. We're using the system how it was designed to be used.
We're just tactfully using it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Just acquiring what we can along the way.
Okay. I think we're about time for the segment of What Were You Thinking Award goes to this week.
You had a good one.
Yeah, I got to show this picture. This is a picture. This is a good one here. Oh, no, wrong picture. All right.
Also, what was that guy thinking? But no, now there we go.
Yeah. So this was in a parking lot in my hometown here with clearly taking up 4 handicap parking spaces at the same time in the access way.
I mean, I've seen taken up 2 before. This is just impressive.
Yes,
and he got it between the posts.
That is very impressive.
The only thing missing are the truck nuts hanging off the back.
That's all right. There's a Second Amendment license plate on the front.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And with all Second Amendment stickers all over the place here on this thing.
Right.
And it's also a combination plate vehicle, which means it's also could be put as commercial. So it's a heavy duty vehicle.
Although that doesn't mean anything. They stuck me with a combi plate on my truck too. So
it's
you use it for work. I'm like, just when my friends call me that they're moving and I'm the only guy they know with a truck, like, oh, I'll give you a combi plate. I'm like,
the combo plate, it just means it's over a certain gross motor vehicle weight, but it's under the commercial threshold. So
yeah, that's why I got rid of my truck, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So my concern, so people were like on the internet when I posted it was like, oh, this guy's a jerk, da da da. And my initial thought was the following: I'm driving on the road with this person. Do they have a medical problem where they can't park correctly? Why do they have a driver's license?
Well, I've seen many people that shouldn't have licenses get licenses.
But the really scary part is that it's a heavy duty truck with a combo plate, which means it's a heavier than normal vehicle, which means this person could do a lot of damage.
I mean, I saw a Tesla parked like that at the Chargers yesterday, like diagonally through 2 spots to plug in because they couldn't figure out where to park to plug in their car.
But you understand what I'm saying is that quite clearly this person may have a medical problem.
So what you're saying is we need autonomous driving.
No, what I'm saying is just there needs to be a
autonomous parking.
Yeah. So
at least he tried to back in. Well, maybe not. He could have just
he pulled through.
Pulled in.
Yeah. Well, you never know. They may have been backing in, and his trucks are really long and it wouldn't fit with the signpost, so they went kind of sideways. And...
Oh, should I also mention this car had no placard in it for handicap?
Oh,
well, that's a good thing to mention. Yeah.
I mean, what
and the plate doesn't have the handicap symbol on it, which means it ain't authorized to be in these spots. So let's see here. So it's in Connecticut, it's $150 per spot you violate in. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times 150 is how much?
600.
600. Yeah.
Right, and then it's $500 for parking in the access way.
But he's parked in
hash mark. Yeah, so that's another $1,000.
$1,600.
And tickets if a police
do it, but they won't.
They won't. Yeah, I know. They really. This is becoming a problem in this state. They really need to start issuing some of these tickets. You know. So that's candidate number 1. I think
there's a lot of small things that like the police aren't like actually policing anymore.
Yeah.
Like things like that. I know here in Enfield, they're going to be hiring a company just to go through the town every once in a while just to run plates because there's so many out-of-state people that aren't registering right by the border. Like,
right.
Police can't keep up with it.
I think the other thing we need to ask ourselves is who else is eligible for this award this week?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Pam Bondi is definitely up there with. I'm not talking to oversight committee people.
Well, yeah, I won't say anything.
I do want to nominate JD Vance.
For
pretty much going on live and saying, "Oh, well, the gas prices, this is Biden's fault." I'm like, wait a minute. Biden hasn't been president for
how long now? Definitely your problem now, buddy.
Just gonna say laughing and Evie over here.
So, any preference, guys? You think who should get it?
I mean,
I'm thinking the handicapped person, Spot Parker.
That guy's pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, blaming Biden.
That's
well over a year after he's out.
And starting a war to close the Straits of Hormuz that's going to.
Biden did that? Biden started this war with Iran? Oh.
Yeah.
Dang. Yep. Had no idea.
I can't believe that he really said that. I'm like.
I thought you were going to say he cheated on his couch with an armchair.
So I'm thinking, Vance, you definitely might have done it this week.
I mean, that's pretty bold statement that it's Biden's fault for the gas prices. Really. I mean, maybe if this was March of last year, you could make the argument. Maybe.
This one, no.
But 15 months after he's gone, like, come on now.
Okay, so what's your vote, Jeremy?
I mean, on a national level, I'd have to say Vance. If we gave out a Connecticut award, definitely that handicap guy.
Yeah, that handicap definitely.
Yeah, I'm going with Vance too.
That's, I mean, it's 14 months, basically.
Yeah.
And a war and terrorists.
And a couple of regime changes.
Yeah.
Like,
Venezuela.
I was wondering how long they're going to get away, like, just using that excuse. This is pretty good. I mean, are they going to use it again?
I think they're going to try it to the day they get kicked out of office.
Okay.
Oh.
It's all Biden's fault.
Yeah, he could have refilled the oil reserves that Trump emptied, and
Yeah. Oh, gee whiz, they're going to start doing that. So, okay. All right.
We didn't even have our reserves filled up before we went into this. Like, come on. What are we doing?
I mean,
okay. So, Vance, congratulations. You win again.
Yeah. Has he won before yet?
Yes, he has once or twice.
Really?
Yeah.
This is why we need a tracker.
Yeah, we really need to get a tracker.
We definitely need a tracker. Yeah. Figure out who's gotten this award.
Yeah. Because
yeah, we definitely need a tracker.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get a tracker together. Okay, that sounds like something I need to work on. Great.
Just all right. How many of these? Like,
yep. So
3-time. What were they thinking? Award winner. You
get a hat trick. So until next week, make sure you don't end up on the award list. Can't see. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And thank you, everybody, for watching.